Nike's latest lifestyle silhouette pulls its inspiration from a handful of famous running sneakers, both past and present. The very first retail release adopts a classic black and white Oreo colorway and released in November of 2016. Let's take a look. Hey all, what is up? Reese here, and I've got a brand new sneaker pickup to show you. What we're looking at today is the Nike LunarCharge Premium LE. This is the multicolor and multicolor colorway, according to the box, although as you can see it's really just a black and white Oreo colorway. These released on November 18th, 2016 with a retail price of $120. The LunarCharge is a brand new silhouette from Nike, and it pulls its inspiration from a handful of Nike running shoes, both past and present. The overall shape of the silhouette comes from the 1990 Air Current. The neoprene used throughout much of the upper is taken from the 1988 Airflow. 1990 represents again with the eye stays being pulled from the 1990, obviously, Air Max 90. And the inner booty construction, how it's basically a one-piece upper, you don't have a separate tongue, very easy to slip on, is lifted from the 2000 Air Presto. This all sits atop a Lunarlon midsole and outsole setup that's taken from the 2016 Lunar Epic Flyknit. It was actually this outsole setup that first interested me in this silhouette. I've been running a lot the past couple months in the Lunar Epic Flyknit, and I've really fallen in love with the shoe, both the Flyknit upper and also the outsole and the way it works. The way it's set up with the laser siping or the laser cut grooves throughout. Despite all the running pedigree though, this is not actually intended to be a running shoe. It's a lifestyle sneaker, and really the limiting factor here is the upper. I like the upper just for casual wear, but it's pretty thin and it doesn't quite have the right support or technology you'd want to see in a running shoe. Of course, the midsole and outsole would be perfectly fine for running. Would be perfectly great actually, since it comes from the Lunar Epic Flyknit, which is really at the top of Nike's running shoe lineup. So really, as a lifestyle shoe, this fits more into the category of something like Nike's Roshe 1 or Roshe 2 or the Adidas Tubular or NMD. And just like a lot of those shoes, I think Nike's going to be doing a lot of experimentation both with colorways and also kind of flipping up the materials, doing some changes there. There's already a handful of pairs that have been previewed for December releases. We've got things like an olive green pair that basically is exactly the same as this. It just replaces the black with olive green. There's also a triple black or blackout pair. And then what's interesting to me is two pairs that are coming out, one for men and one for women. There's like a tan or cream pair for men and then a lavender pair for women that replaces the mesh on the toe box and some of the neoprene around the collar with suede, and then instead of the swoosh here, it actually has a larger perforated swoosh on the suede back there. So it's interesting that Nike's already thinking about how they can kind of change up the silhouette and provide some different looks, some different styles, all within the same shoe. I think it'll be really interesting to see what happens with this, especially when we get into like the spring and summer of 2017, and at that point they should really be rolling and having some interesting colorways. So I'm definitely excited to see what happens with this. Now, as far as this colorway goes, this is actually the very first retail colorway of the shoe. The LE designation on the box indicates that it was a limited edition release. So basically it just didn't have a super wide release. There weren't a ton of places that got them. As a matter of fact, Nike.com didn't even release them, and I don't believe any physical Nike stores got them as well. It was all smaller, like boutique style stores throughout the world. And they didn't completely sell out. Like there are some places that still have a couple sizes, but for the most part, it seemed like people really were interested in these, grabbed them pretty much from all the retailers, and so I was happy to be able to grab a pair in my size 13. As far as sizing goes, I've heard a lot of people recommend going up a half size. Some people even recommend a full size. The size 13 fits me perfectly, but I also have a fairly narrow and long foot, so if you have a wide foot, definitely try to go up half a size or a size if you can, but I really don't think it's necessary to go up more than half a size in this sneaker. With all that said, we've kind of had a good high-level overview of what's going on with this shoe. Let's dive in now to that close-up view so we can look at the colors, materials, and really everything going on here. Take a look at the upper here to get started. The toe box features a mesh material, and it's stitched with a couple different colors. We got black and then some silver threading throughout to give it a little bit of extra personality or, you know, textured look. It also kind of looks like it could be reflective, but again, that's just the use of the silver threading. Moving on up then, you've got some like a dark heathered gray neoprene material right here. You've got those white eye stays that are pulled from the Air Max 90. This does feature as well wax laces. I'm assuming that's part of the premium designation on this pair and not something we're going to see on every single release of the LunarCharge. On the lace tips, on one of them, this is probably isn't going to come into focus, but you've got Nike, and then on the other, you've got a swoosh. Up around the collar, you've got more neoprene, but this time it's done up in black instead of that dark gray. You've got a white swoosh right there. And then if we come to the heel, you've got more of that gray neoprene. You've got a gray swoosh on a black pull tab, and this pull tab actually features a suede material. Again, I'm assuming that's another part of the premium designation. On the mudguard, you've got a light gray, a very light gray, almost a white with some black speckling, reminiscent of like the Cement 4s. You've got that on both sides. Notice that there is no swoosh here on the inside of the shoe. Interior is mostly black. You've got a nice comfortable sock liner with Nike branding right there. Flipping now to the outsole. Again, this is taken from the Lunar Epic Flyknit, and the big difference here on the midsole is you don't have those horizontal cuts that the midsole of the Lunar Epic Flyknit has. Instead, you just have Nike embossed along there, and those horizontal cuts on the Lunar Epic just help a little bit with flexibility, but again, that's not nearly as much of a concern since this isn't meant to be a running shoe. The actual outsole though looks exactly identical to the Lunar Epic Flyknit. You do have those same laser cuts that we saw, or that I mentioned, that are on the midsole of the Lunar Epic coming through on these 5 different pods. And basically the way this works is you've got these rings in each of these pods, and as you move closer into the center, each ring sticks out just like a tiny bit more out of the bottom of the shoe towards the ground. And so what happens is, as you come down, as you make your foot strike, only the rings starting with the center one that you need based on the amount of pressure that you're putting on will compress, and that helps give just like a slightly more customized ride and feeling when you're running, and it's something that I've enjoyed on the Lunar Epic Flyknit. A huge downside, however, is these grooves attract rocks and gravel and all sorts of things, so you do have to be prepared to clean them out every now and then. Although I will say, when there are rocks in there, unless they're huge, you usually don't feel anything. It's not like it negatively impacts when you're walking or running in them. It just is something that's annoying and that you will probably want to clean out. Now you'll notice there's no rubber featured here on the outsole. You've just got your 2 types of Lunarlon foam. The Volt here is the softer foam, and then you can see the white that makes up the main part of the outsole that actually contacts the ground is a little bit of a firmer foam, which is par for the course for setting up a midsole cushioning system. That about wraps it up for the review of the Nike LunarCharge. I think this is a really neat silhouette. I'm excited to start wearing it. Like I said, I love the outsole setup, and that's going to provide some good comfort just when walking around. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think of this new silhouette. Are you excited for any particular colorways? Do you think you're going to wait or just pass on these completely, or are you looking to pick up a pair? Just let me know. Let's have a conversation down in the comments. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more, as always, please subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.